Hello, my name is Daisy, and I'm going to be talking about my creative media project or artwork. So, this is my audio recording for that. I chose to make a collage, and it's essentially a bunch of floating faces on a white backdrop, which is supposed to symbolize how human diversity is sort of subjected to racial, or how it is subjected to racial categorization in America. So, behind each face, fragments of foundation colors represent the complex historical forces that have shaped and perpetuate racial hierarchies here. So, this composition helps to essentially underscore how each of these forces, which I will discuss, continue to influence the societal inequalities experienced by BIPOC individuals. Now, the modern concept of race that emerged during the transformations of modernity through capitalism, nationalism, science, and colonialism profoundly affected BIPOC communities. So, before this emergence, discrimination functioned on another basis. And pulling from page 47, Desmond and Amir Bayer write, during antiquity in the Middle Ages, prejudices were formed and wars were waged against other people, but those other people were not categorized or understood as people of other races. Then, as capitalism grew from the 16th century onwards, the need for cheap labor led to the transatlantic slave trade, and this created racial hierarchies to help justify the exploitation and enslavement of African people. Then, at the same time, the rise of nationalism in the 18th and 19th centuries saw the formation of states that emphasized ethnic and racial homogeneity, making national identities that marginalized BIPOC communities. And these practices were then reinforced by scientific theories during the Enlightenment, with scientists claiming to provide evidence of racial differences. So, furthermore, colonialism, driven by European ambitions, imposed racial categories on colonized people, depicting them as inferior and in need of European civilization. So, colonial administrations then institutionalized racial segregation and discrimination in order to exploit the POC communities' resources and labor while promoting Western superiority. So, Desmond and Amir Bayer address the repercussions of this on page 50 of our textbook, citing it destroys indigenous ways of life, including tribal sovereignty, cultural and religious beliefs, kinship systems, and local economies. And these practices were justified through cultural and intellectual frameworks that dehumanized and controlled colonized populations. So, for BIPOC individuals, this historical construction of race has had profound and lasting effects, perpetuating systematic inequality, discrimination, and violence. So, today, the legacy of these racial ideas continue to impact access to economic opportunities, education, healthcare, and justice, further reinforcing stereotypes and biases that affect BIPOC communities.